So this is my sunset painting from 2018. It was a good effort, but to be honest, it's full of mistakes that I see beginners make all the time. Today I'm going to show you the top 3 mistakes I made in this painting and how I'm going to fix them using teachings and techniques that I've perfected teaching here on YouTube and teaching privately sunsets and realistic water for the last couple of years. And this is the painting repainted that looks much more vivid and the water has been much more improved. And who am I, you may ask? Well, my name is Murray. I'm a landscape artist that specializes in sunsets. This is me in Paris having an exhibition many years ago. And I've been teaching here on YouTube the expertise that I've perfected over the last couple of years. So as I say, this painting isn't bad. The actual structure of itself is actually quite good, but there is a few mistakes. So let's get into what they are. Number 1, rushing the blending. Now when you're painting realistic work, you cannot really have jumps in color. That's where your eyes can make your work look poor. So by using soft bristle brushes like a blender brush, you can blend areas together and soften them to create realism. Now when I first painted this painting in 2018, as I say, technically I've always been very good at drawing and painting, but I didn't actually have expertise in things like the paint itself and types of brushes. Now things like a blender brush, just here you can see me fluff up the clouds, and all I'm doing, I've not got any water on my brush, I've just got pure paint that I've rubbed most of it away, and I've just got a chalky residue of paint, and all I'm doing is fluffing up my clouds to make them look hyper realistic. And what you can do with this blending technique is join areas together. Now part of painting a realistic sunset is joining things together. In nature, you don't notice the transitions between one area of color and another. They blend into them effortlessly. So as you can see here, I'm using the same technique, but I'm using bright yellow, which is just yellow and white, and I'm mixing it and I'm linking areas so there's not so much of a jump between the warm colors such as yellow and orange around the heat of the sun and the cool colors such as the blue and the gray at the top of the painting where the sun and the light is getting darker and it cools in temperature. So just by blending this area together, we can go forward, and I can go to mistake number 2, which is jumps in colors. Now this links very much into mistake number 1, and that is jumping from one area to another without blending, but also without making your transitions in colors natural. So going from warm colors around the sun and going from things like darks to lights, by mixing colors that are in between, you can link areas together and make things much more realistic. So here all I'm doing is mixing some orange and yellow to create a cad deep hue, which is basically a golden sort of yellow, and all I'm doing is I'm spreading this thin paint over the top and glazing my painting, and I'm noticing the same jumps between the warm and the cool colors in the ocean. So by mixing the two areas together, by adding warm colors such as orange and cool colors such as blue, I can link the two areas together. So rather than have complete opposites such as yin and yang, I can link areas together. Here I'm using a flat brush and I'm painting in ocean waves, and what I'm doing is I'm making the waves quite close together as they fade out into the distance, and as they come towards the viewer at the bottom of the painting, I'm making the waves larger. But because that paint is a mixture between the cool blue and the warm orange, it's linking these two areas together. So there's not so much of a jump in color, and this in turn is tricking your eyes to make your work look much more realistic. Now I have many tutorials on the channel on how to do this. This was one that we've done recently on water sparkles. as well as many playlists on how to paint sunsets and how to paint water. So as I say, I'm using this same technique to now add more blue as I move away from the heat of the sun and get cooler in temperature. We're leaning towards more bluer, cooler tones because the light at the bottom of the painting, just like in real life, would be getting less warmth and would be more in the shade. So by using cooler blues and things like purples and greys, you can emphasize that. And by also making this area look wider and the waves look bigger, I can create perspective and make them look closer to the viewer. All these things that I wouldn't have known necessarily when I first started, and over years of practice, as I say, I've got better. So even things like this, where I'm adding things like Payne's grey, which is a very dark bluey grey, I'm doing things like darkening my corners. I'm making sure that the transitions are not so harsh that they blend into one another. And by darkening the corners, I can make my darkest darks at the bottom of the painting almost frame the painting. And at the same at the top of the painting with the cool blue in the sky, I can get the painting to be framed and to look more hyper realistic. So just these little two things together, even though they seem like the same thing, they're two different techniques, but together they make an unbelievably realistic painting and they join areas together. And this area here, which I need to work on, because again there's a transition, this leads me to mistake number 3, and that is the all or nothing mentality. And this last mistake is probably the most crucial one, and it's less about the actual painting itself and more about the mindset in your head. So when I painted this back in 2018, I had what you call an all or nothing mentality, which is not just painting but with a lot of things going on in my life. And basically, if I didn't get where I wanted to go, or if something didn't turn out the way I wanted, I would be very, very harsh on myself and get extremely frustrated and almost want to quit. And I know a lot of people who do painting for beginners, they see these wonderful tutors on YouTube and Instagram and so forth on social media, and they often get quite depressed when their paintings don't come out like that. But what people don't see behind the scenes is many of the artists might have practiced that many times before they've put it on social media. They might have failed in private before they put it out in public. Now, anyone who watches my tutorials often sees me make mistakes because I've learned to make mistakes and I've got comfortable with making mistakes, and I like to leave them in the tutorials because I like to show people that no one's perfect. Even me filming these tutorials, I often make mistakes, I often cock up, and I'm trying to show you that consistency is how you really truly improve. By giving your best effort every time you do something and then just enjoying it and just learning from your failures, learning how you can improve. Don't take things too harshly. If things aren't working out, step away from it. Go do something else, relax. But don't give up and don't think that next time you won't improve and things won't get better. Because painting is very much like life. You learn from your mistakes and you get better from them. And the wisdom and knowledge and the experience you get from them, you can always rework areas that you don't like and improve them. So I'm putting the finishing touches on the light, on the water shimmering down, and I think she looks fantastic. I think she looks so much better than she did before. So there's me. I'm really proud of her. I hope you found these 3 mistakes that have helped me along the way useful. And if you would like to watch any of the sunset over the ocean painting tutorials step by step, there's plenty of videos and playlists on the channel. I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead and happy painting. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.